We all remember the 23 season, where Red Bull, and especially Max, cooked the whole competition. Ferrari got the only non-Red Bull win in the season, but they only finished 3rd in the constructor, and their drivers finished 5th and 7th in the driver standings. Meaning that Ferrari fans have to use their catchphrase again: next year will be our year. You gotta respect the optimism, or delusion, whatever it might be. Now, if you wanna know why Ferrari hasn't been competitive, pause the video and take a look at this picture. And yes, this is real. Ferrari wanted to challenge Red Bull in 2024 and deliver a close fight for the titles. Although Max won his 4th title, Ferrari finished in front of Red Bull in the constructors. They finally did it. I forgot about that one. The 2024 season was a rollercoaster of emotions for the Tifosi. Again, for the 29th time. Some Grand Prix cost them sleepless nights, and they cost them titles too. Now let's take a look at some of the Ferrari experience in 2024 to find out what went wrong, before we crucify the usual suspects. So, let's revisit Bahrain, the first race of the season. By the way, am I the only one who can't remember shit from the first 3 races? Anyway, so Red Bull and Max started where they finished last season, making the rest of the field look like F2. But Ferrari had a solid performance and finished behind the Red Bulls. Ferrari was ready to close the battle and the Tifosi got their hopes up. Again, they never learn, do they? So let me introduce you to a new franchise. Welcome to F1 Wars. We'll take a look at episode 1, Attack of the Ferraris, Australia. And let me tell you, I really don't like this race at all. I have to get up so early for a boring ass race. Max had to retire because of overheating brakes. And no, I'm not gonna make a "the car was on fire" joke. But you remember who was on fire too? The Mercedes fanbase. But of course, only until Lewis retired and Osama lost it in the last round. Joy turned into tears, my personal highlight from the race. But who got the last laugh in the end? Ferrari finished 1st and 2nd and brought peace to the galactic Italian Republic. Between Japan and Emilia-Romagna, Ferrari solidified themselves as the number 2 team behind Max Bull. But suddenly, McLaren was in contention too, after finding a shitload of performance with their upgrades. Anyway, a new episode of F1 Wars has been released. A New Hope. The Monaco Grand Prix. You know what that means? The whole world is wondering if Charles can finally win his home race at his 6th attempt. After some outstanding performances in the last years, you'd think so. Charles was on pole position. It's almost impossible to not win from pole in Monaco. Ah shit, yeah, I forgot about that one. Never mind. The only team that can make the Monaco Grand Prix exciting is Ferrari. Everyone was ready for Ferrari to fuck it up again. But we all got scammed. An early red flag made it possible to change tires in a calm environment with no possibility to screw Charles over. But for real now, if you were not happy for Charles, you're not a true F1 fan, and you should go back to Drive to Survive. He deserved it. But if you want to make us happy, please drop a like, a sub, and comment under the video. Alright, back to the program. You already guessed it, the next episode awaits. The Empire Strikes Back, and it takes place in Canada. Again, Ferrari arrived highly motivated following their 1-3 in Monaco. They want to continue their form and not fuck up again. So what did they do? Yeah, they fucked up really bad. Both cars had to retire from the race, but they did it in style at least. Charles was told that they had issues with the car. They then decided to put him on slicks while the track was still wet and he lost around 15 seconds per round. But hey, at least the engine was working again. After their big brain strategy move, they boxed him again and sent him out on inters. Then they decided to end his suffering and retire the car. Carlos didn't feel like doing the whole work by himself, so he decided to show us his abilities to drive in mixed conditions. He lost the car and crashed into Alpen. After this incident, the race had the same number of Italian viewers as points scored by Ferrari this weekend. After this catastrophic weekend in Montreal, Ferrari brought some big upgrades to Spain. And boy, there were some serious upgrades. Not only did they gain nothing from them, the car was even slower than before. After the Spain Grand Prix, Red Bull decided to turn into Ferrari themselves. This was Ferrari's big chance to overtake Red Bull in the team standings. Did they do it? Of course not. Instead, they lost their place to McLaren. The next race was in Monza, and the Italian press was getting ready to tear them apart if they fuck up this holy race for them. They say that pressure makes diamonds, so Fred Vasseur came up with a new plan. They needed more power, so they decided to use the energy of Enzo Ferrari rotating in his grave.
I want to apologize.
They pulled off a one-stopper, and Charles won the race. The reason being because they hired a new head of strategy for this race, Carlos Sainz. Otherwise, we probably might have seen another Plan E for Explode. In Baku, Perez and Sainz decided they didn't want to give the fans too much false hope, so they came together for one of the dumbest crashes of the whole season, resulting in Carlos losing a podium and missing out on important points for the team standings. Well, it looks like another episode of F1 Wars is airing right now. Return of the Ferraris in Austin, Texas. The fans were already down, and Ferrari decided to bring their last upgrades of the season. Fans were already preparing for the worst, having PTSD from the Spain upgrades. But somehow, they made that shit to work, and the car was fast again. But their best upgrade was an aggressive Max Verstappen, who protected the Ferraris from Lando with his life. The Forza was still strong with Ferrari, with Carlos winning in Mexico and Charles finishing third. Sainz started to turn into Prime Alonso, and the Brazilian Grand Prix happened. We already learned that mixed conditions and Carlos Sainz don't really go together. And damn did he prove us right. Destroying the car in qualifying.
Man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
He also smashed his car into the wall during the race. Just Ferrari things, man. From hero to zero in just 1 week, but multiple times per year. After that, everyone knew that the championship was basically over, even though they could still win in theory. That brings me to my next question. Have they already found the solution for the problems of 24 before the 24 season had even started?
What?
I'm talking about the announcement that Lewis would drive for Ferrari in 25. Or will the Ferrari experience break another world champion? But we can't forget that Lewis has already announced that he wants to bring more diversity to Ferrari. Alright guys, stop it. Let me explain. I'm usually the first to troll Lewis, but he's talking about a core problem that Ferrari has. Ferrari wants to be Italian. Instead of trying to get the best people from all over the world, they focus on getting the best Italians. Do you know why Michael was so successful with Ferrari? Because he told them to fuck off. He's going to bring the people he wants. People like Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne. And what's important too, is to have a non-Italian team principal. Someone like Jean Todt, who was the boss when Michael was unstoppable. And Fred Vasseur is the first non-Italian Ferrari team principal since Jean. Ferrari needs somebody who has an edge and has the balls to criticize Ferrari. Can we expect the episode The Rise of Hamilton in the 25 season? Well, that's a good question. A lot of people are saying that the next season is going to be the most exciting one, because all the top teams will be on the same level. If that's the case, then Ferrari really needs to get their shit together. Even such a strong driver pairing can't make up for a whole season full of strategy errors or car issues. Of course they need the two drivers to work together for that, but will they harmonize? Lewis won't settle for being number 2 driver, and Charles is untouchable at Ferrari. Looking at it this way, I can already see a lot of funny radio messages coming. Thank you for watching guys, take care, see you soon.